Welcome to the Dump Station, a podcast from RV Enthusiast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dump Station podcast brought to you by RV Enthusiast magazine. This is where all the RVers go. And today we've got a neat broadcast coming to you from the RV show down in Perry, Georgia, that's being put on by the FMCA. It's their annual convention, the first one that they've done since the beginning of the pandemic. And joining us today is going to be Bob Livingston, publisher of RV Enthusiast magazine. And we're also going to be joined here by Chris Lamkin and Wayne Wells, both of LiquidSpring Suspensions. Chris is the marketing guy for the company there. He takes care of all those things for them. And then Wayne Wells is the RV sales lead. Gentlemen, welcome all to the Dump Station podcast.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Thanks, Chris. Hey. Awesome. So Wayne and Chris, great to see you guys. And you're at the Perry convention. So tell us what's going on there.
Beautiful sunny skies in beautiful Perry, Georgia. They've got about somewhere between 12 and 1,500 coaches here. The people have been very active and happy to be here. So far, it's a really good show.
Fantastic.
So how's the attendance? Is it looking pretty good?
It's, all things considered, the attendance looks pretty good. I think they have I think it's somewhere around 1,500, and they were told they had to cap out at 16 anyway. So They couldn't have got a lot, but lots of day passes. Again, people seem to be happy to be out and about and moving around the country again. So the attendance is.
The folks that are here are definitely very serious. It's very big into the RV community, and that's what you see a lot of the folks in the community out camping together. So I mean, the energy and the attitude, the environment. Everything's been fantastic, and again, the folks that are here are very serious and very interested. So from a vendor standpoint, I think it's a very good audience, a captive audience.
Yeah, and that's really good to hear because there's been a lot of people cooped up for a while, and I'm sure they're really happy to be out.
I think there's a lot of people that are looking down the road.
You're at the LiquidSpring booth there in Perry. And you guys have had a pretty interesting year. Can you tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Absolutely. So this year started off kind of for everybody, but things are starting to roll again. We have now released the front suspension for the Ford F-53 chassis for both the V8 or the 2020 chassis and the pre-V10 chassis from 2012 and on. That's been a big thing for us. We are back in as a factory option on Tiffin on the rear suspension, and starting in 2022, Fleetwood is going to offer us, or Rev is going to offer us front and rear on their Bounder, Southwind, Fortis, Holiday Rambler product, the Vacationer, and the Evicta. And that's a big deal for us. We're coming out of the gate strong, and we need to just keep building on what we're doing. The front suspension is definitely a big piece in our upcoming future, I think.
And for our viewers that don't know, can you tell us what your product is? What does it do?
Sure. So what we have is a compressible liquid suspension. What that allows us to do is have very good ride qualities and very good handling. And we do that by sensing speed, steering, braking, and ride height off of the coach at all times. And as we're going down the road, the suspension is making adjustments all the time. So what you'll feel is the coach will have a little bit of body roll, but it'll stop immediately. And it does that intuitively. You have to do nothing. It's going to do it for you. So as you're going down the road, the coach is just making adjustments. And what you'll feel is a very smooth, compliant ride until the body starts to roll, and that immediately takes that away from you. So it's going to be much more ride comfort with very good handling. Again, our catch is sports car handling, luxury car ride.
Yeah. Well, it sounds to me that that's going to be a great complement to the rear suspension components. And I remember when we first did the rear, it made such a huge difference in the ride control. You know, the chassis. When you go out and test drive a brand new motorhome, let's say, and you take it on the road, hey, it feels really good. Then you load it. You start loading things up high in all the compartments, and you start loading it heavy. And all of a sudden, the dynamics change dramatically, and you go, hey, what happened to this motorhome? This doesn't handle like the one I just road tested. And you get the LiquidSpring components, attached to the suspension. Wow. What a change. I mean, it just is very dramatic. And look, I haven't got a chance to do the front, but I imagine that it's going to be a big game changer in as far as, ride quality and handling for the Ford chassis.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. The front is definitely the icing on the cake. I mean, we were really satisfied with what the rear did. It made huge leaps and bounds. The front just gives you that much more. It gives you that nice quality ride because that's where you're sitting. But it definitely, the front and rear combination is astounding what it does.
That's great. So people who have the rear suspension now can come back and get the front put on so they can have the entire package. I assume
correct.
That's the way
And
it's gonna be.
I've got a whole bunch of those going on right now.
Yeah.
We're doing really well with that. And again, we just got it released. The Tampa Super Show, we really took a coach to a show with front and rear.
But you're also doing the Class C chassis, right? Is that correct?
Say that one more time, Bob.
You're also doing the suspension upgrade on the Class C chassis, right?
Yeah, I'll kind of cover what. So we have suspensions for the E Series E350 450s, the Dodge 45 5500 chassis, the Ford F450 550 chassis, the International MV and CV. So that basically covers a lot of Super Cs and regular C, Class Cs. We do some B plus stuff. We're still a factory option on the Phoenix Cruiser product. So we have quite a bit of coverage and growing all the time.
As far as the Class A chassis, if I remember, you can go back quite a long way and still retrofit these parts, right?
Yeah, we can go back to about 2010 on the F53.
That's good, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, we have pretty good coverage across the RV market now on the gas and Super C and C stuff product line.
Yeah, what really impresses me is that when you look at people who move into let's say the entry level diesel pushers because they want a better suspension, they want a better handling motorhome, and they want a smoother riding chassis, will end up going into that direction, and sometimes just completely bypass the Ford chassis because they've heard a lot of stories. They've been out test driving them themselves. They maybe have owned one or two of those things, and you say, hey, you know what, I'm done with that ride. It's not comfortable. It doesn't handle the way I want it to handle. And so it opens up a whole new avenue here for people who want to hold on to their Fords, and also people who are looking at the cost difference. I mean, if you look at the interiors of these things, there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, the luxury is in the same level, the appliances and accessories in the same level, and basically when you start moving into the handling and the comfort of a diesel pusher for a much lower price point, you bring a whole lot more people into the fold here as far as financial availability to be able to get a Class A motorhome. It opens up the whole the world of Class A's here for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, Bob, you hit the nail on the head. We're fitting that market of the customer that they don't want to go into diesel for whatever reason. They don't like the maintenance, the price, whatever it is. That's really the market we're looking at. We like, and we can fit all of them, but I mean that upper end gas market is right, perfect for where we're heading.
Mm-hmm. And it makes some sense. It makes sense because, I mean, for the most part, many people put on, like lots of miles, and a lot of people put on, maybe you're going to put on, 5,000, 10,000 miles a year. Well, do you want to put the money into a diesel pusher? Hey, if you got it, it's great. But if the Class A, and like you said, the upper end of the Class A gas does the job for you, then this gives you an opportunity to make the case for yourself. Because you got to make the case to yourself. You got to say, hey, am I going to be comfortable with this thing? And once that happens, you can be really happy. And again, it's the affordability factor changes dramatically.
And you guys,
again, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. No.
I was just going to say that, and of course, your system is aftermarket retrofittable. So if someone has a motorhome that they're really in love with, they can get the LiquidSpring suspension installed.
And that's a big part of it too, Chris. I mean, people, and Bob kind of alluded to this earlier, people love their coaches, and people fall in love with their coaches, and the idea of upgrading or changing for any reason, you provide an opportunity for people to hold on to what they've become accustomed to, what they love, the floor plans they know and understand, all of the appliances they can engage with, they've become familiar with, and not have to take on that next $100,000 purchase just because they've been having trouble with the ride quality and the handling on that gas approach.
Sure. Yeah, it's a great, it can be a much better investment. Now, this is obviously not a system that's a do-it-yourselfer can install. So where can people get more information and find out where installers are? How do they get it installed?
The easiest way is go to our dealer locator on our website at liquidspring.com, and you can go to our dealer locator. It'll tell you who's in your area, or by all means, feel free to reach out directly to me. The easiest way to get me, my cell phone, 503-709-8901. Feel free to give me a call. I'll help you find somewhere. But we have places all over the country that can do the install. Again, we would love to help people hang on to coaches. If you like your coach, but you don't like the way it drives, I can probably save you a pretty good chunk of change by not having to go to a diesel pusher. Here's my recommendation. If you're interested in our product, look around the country for a dealership that has a stock coach with LiquidSpring on it. Mm-hmm. They're starting to be stocked on lots, or contact me and I'll find a way to get you to a coach. What really sells our product, or what really lets people know what it does, is driving it. It's hard for us to explain. I can't oversell our product enough to really give a customer the idea of what it's going to do to a gas coach.
Right. And again, like we talked earlier, if you really want to, experience the results, make sure it's loaded and loaded for the trip. And if it is, you'll find that the experience changes dramatically, and it's much more comfortable. The handling changes dramatically. The smoothness on the concrete highways with the expansion joints, and making the transition into a fuel station, or making a transition onto the highway, or into intersections where you have those dips in the road. It's going to make a big difference. You're not going to get rocked back and forth and get thrown all over the coach. And that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the couple of coaches that I've tested, and Wayne, we've worked in the past on that. Really tightens it up. You put it in sport mode, and it really tightens it up. We've done some pretty interesting little experiments with it. We've loaded we haven't loaded the coach up completely, but we fill the fuel and water tanks. Mm-hmm. So that puts a decent amount of weight in there. Mm-hmm. It's not as though we're moving into it or anything. But when we did those tests, and we did some modified slalom courses, and got it out on the highway and really worked with them, it was quite an improvement. It was nice. Okay, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much. Bob, thank you for joining us. And again,
it's always a pleasure.
And Wayne, thanks so much for joining us from the FMCA rally in Perry, Georgia. I'm Chris Doherty for the podcast and RV Enthusiast magazine. For more information, come to our website, www.rventhusiast.com. Thanks for watching.